you, but you know.
Just when I can't be shocked again by Minnesota differences from Idaho, I get shocked again.
Yeah, that's all right. We got majority.
It's because Idaho does not report. Oh.
What do you need a car be in Idaho?
I think it depends on your city charter, how you set it up too.
It does.
No, Idaho is state level.
What are we doing?
But
Yeah.
Minnesota, there's something
If you were missing a Jill, if you were missing three city council members out of 6-member city council, the mayor doesn't count, that would be half the city council that would not be quorum. That's just.
Of course I count. I always count.
Well, no, it's another state, they do things weirdly there.
There you go. All right.
Take my hand.
I'd like to call this regular meeting of the Ely City Council to order. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everyone, and to our February 20th, 2024 regular council meeting. Casey, could you please call the roll?
Councilmember Al Forsman, Paul Kess, Jerome Bell,
Here.
Ryan Callen, Angela Campbell,
Here.
Adam Bisbee,
Here.
and Marilyn Mercer.
I am here. We are strong in spirit, but short in numbers. But we do have a quorum, so we will go ahead and continue. I need a motion to approve our minutes from the February 6th, 2024 regular council meeting. I have a motion by Jerome, supported by Angela. Any changes to the minutes? Very good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes have passed. I have 2 additions to the agenda. Does anybody else have any additions or omissions? With that, I take a motion to accept the 2 additions. Adam? Is there support? Jerome? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of our 2 additions?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we have an agenda. Mayor's report, very quickly, for just so everyone's aware, in our boxes and just for the public's knowledge, Ely was named Airport of the Month in Minnesota Flyer Magazine, February's edition. So that's kind of cool. I think people sometimes forget that we have an area airport, and it is an economic driver. There are so many things that go on at that airport that a lot of times we don't even know about. Most of the time we don't know about. And Paul is, no, Adam, are you an airport person?
Yes.
There's a lot of things that go on out there that we are a lot of times we're not aware of. But we have continued to keep it up, and good job. Second, I went to an Elected Leaders Institute last weekend, sponsored by the League of Minnesota Cities. It was by far and away one of the best one of the best elected official trainings I've been to, and I've been to many over the years. A lot had to do with dealing with negotiations, dealing with yourself and how you feel about certain things, and dealing with, instead of calling it diversity, more inversely, be more inclusive of everyone and how you feel about it. I don't want to say it was feelings, but more how you interact with people. It was excellent. And as always, it was good to connect and reconnect with a lot of old friends and making new friends. So I appreciate the opportunity for going and just really having a moment to realize what a great community we live in. And last, there was a very sad incident that happened in Burnsville over the weekend. And I think it's important that we take a moment to realize how fortunate we are living in Ely, and to make sure that if you have a moment and you see an EMS, a firefighter, a police officer, to take a moment and thank them for what they do. sometimes you meet them in the most unfortunate circumstances, but they do a lot for us. They are a lot of times meeting us in very unfortunate moments of our life and stressful moments. But that took me off guard when I read the article, when I saw it, when I had a few friends send me the article. And we have a lot of people in a lot of our different departments that put themselves in harm's way to keep us safe. Not just in the fire department, not just in the police department, but in a lot of different departments, especially when it comes to storms and other places. I was thinking about that actually most of the weekend after Sunday's incident. And we are very fortunate that we have the people that work for Ely that do, because they don't hesitate. So if we could just have a moment just to think of those young families, just a moment of silence, I would appreciate that. Moving on to our consent agenda. Our first is a motion to waive the readings in their entirety. And the second, which I really need to say out loud just so the public is aware, we need to reschedule our March 5th regularly scheduled council meeting to Tuesday, March 12th at 5:30 due to the presidential nomination primary, which is on March 5th. So no public meetings can be scheduled that evening. Again, our regularly scheduled March 5th meeting will be on Tuesday, March 12th, so it'll be postponed. I need a motion. So moved by Jerome, supported by Angela. Any discussion on either A or B? Go ahead, Harold.
I just wanted to give a reminder as well, on next Tuesday's EEDA meeting, that has been canceled. That is night of the caucus, so just want everybody to be aware of that as well.
And if people wanted information about caucuses, are they still at Minnesota North Campus? Excellent. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We have no requests to appear. Moving on to committee reports, excuse me. Project committee, the minutes are in your packet. If anybody has any questions, I will let Harold answer them for you. Go ahead, Harold.
You'll see we didn't have a lot of action items at the projects committee, but there is a lot of activity and a lot of projects being discussed right now. Some of the bigger ones discussed were next year's infrastructure projects, the 9th Avenue, Conan Street area, and also our water supply line project. Other development projects that we're currently involved with was Voyager North Outfitters and their expansion with their additional lodging units, the old community center renovation and reuse that Mr. Stupnik is working on, and also there's continued efforts with the depot project down on Central and Miners Drive. So we are working on some development agreements with those property owners because there is some involvement required by the city, some for off-street parking for the hotel, and also at the depot, some city land that will be required for that ultimate construction project. So again, not a lot of action items tonight, but there will be coming in the coming month or so. On the other project, of course, the housing project, working with the HRA. We discussed that quite extensively at our last meeting, but it is looking like we have a developer interested. We have plan that appears feasible. Right now, we do have Maxfield Research that did our housing study, and then our update, who is taking a look at it with this specific plan in place to update that feasibility study. So we've got a conference call with them tomorrow with the developer and HRA and Minnesota Housing Partnership. So we are hopeful that here in April, we will have an application to Minnesota Housing to get some funding and make that project feasible. So more news to come.
Excellent. Does anybody have any questions for Harold? Go ahead.
Real quick, Harold, could you just briefly explain the pre-application for demolition assistance for the remodel of the community center? Is that, are we offering up equipment or material?
Certainly. On these projects, especially with these larger, older buildings to be reused, there's hazardous materials to be removed, walls to be demoed, old plumbing to be removed, those sorts of things. Those are all eligible for the commercial rehab program with the IRRRB. So we would be the fiscal agent. We'll apply for the funds on behalf of the property owner, and then they spend the money, we get their money reimbursed. And if the match for that grant is their renovation of the building. So this project, for example, I believe that portion of the project is about $170,000. The overall renovations of the building are over $3 million. So that is how we'll assist. So our involvement is pretty much helping write the grant, being the fiscal agent.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, Airport Commission, anything to report?
The minutes are in the packet. The Moose survey was completed. 2 helicopters over a period of, I believe, 9 days. Unfortunately, it was concluded shortly before the snow melt. They do require 8 inches of snow in order to be able to see and track the moose. Other than that, I can take any questions regarding anything discussed.
Any questions for Adam? Thank you. Library Board, that would be me or Rachel. The minutes are in your packet if anybody has any questions. All right, HRA.
I want to thank Harold for updating the HRA, what we are doing and going forward, and the minutes are in the packet. If there are any questions, please ask me.
Adam, go ahead.
Just a quick question on the, I saw a note here, I'm not sure if I underlined it here. Public road infrastructure to be used for some of the funding? Did I read that right? I was just wondering what that entails and if that takes money out of the road construction budget.
Go ahead.
Sure. For a housing development project, we do have to take into account the infrastructure needed to support it. So that may be water, sanitary sewer, storm sewer, and then road infrastructure, the roadway to it, the paving of that. The intent in this project, the 2 sites that we have kind of looked at, will require infrastructure, including all of those items. That would be an application to IRRRB Resource Rehabilitation Board, IRRRB, for their housing program or for their infrastructure program. So this all kind of be grouped into one overall project with multiple sources of funds. So the intent would be that would be a project cost that would be funded through that project. One part of the project that we will be requesting the council support is the land it will be built on will be city-owned land. So at some point, we will need to put that into play, and we will need to come up with a value of that, so we might have to get an appraisal at some point. So that'll be part of our discussion tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Any other questions? All right, do we have any other committee reports? Any other committee reports? Okay, departmental reports. Harold, do you have anything?
At the last meeting, I had said the outdoor skating rink was pretty much melted. Well, due to the great work of our ice engineers down at the rec center, and I say that because they had a note on the rink, saying when they were gonna have the ice ready again. And there has been skating over the weekend. The large rink looks real good. With sun getting higher in the sky and getting a little warmer during the day, I don't know how long that'll last. So if those of you want to still get out and skate, the rink today looked excellent, and I'm sure it'll look great for the rest of the week. Next week, when it gets into the 50s, might be a different story. So just stay posted and use it when you can.
All right, thank you, Harold. Fire Chief.
Yeah, good evening. Since the last time we met, Ely Fire has responded to one fire. It was a furnace backup. And again, it was the middle of the night and the homeowner was awakened by carbon monoxide alarms going off. So just want to stress the importance of working carbon monoxide alarms in people's homes. And we responded to 7 medical calls. And there is, I don't know if I'm going to get this right, but there is a little bit of an Ely connection to the incident that happened in Burnsville over the weekend. Sergeant Medlicott, who was the Burnsville police officer who was injured and released yesterday from the hospital, I believe his spouse at one time was a St. Louis County deputy stationed in Ely at that time. So there's a connection there. We just happened to be in Burnsville this weekend because my wife is from Burnsville, so we were down there visiting her parents. And I just, I appreciate what you said, Mayor. You know, every time our pager goes off or we get a radio call to go somewhere and respond to something, it's you know, it's assumed you're going to come back to your family after that. And what happened early Sunday morning is just a reminder that sometimes things don't work out that way. So I appreciate your recognition of it. That's all I have.
Any questions for the chief? Library Director, Rachel.
Well, we have some fun programs coming up, as always, at the library. Tomorrow, February 21st at 2:30 p.m., we'll be having another one of our library scientists program. This one is for grades 1 through 3, and we'll be talking about colors with them. And I think they're going to be making a kaleidoscope too, so that should be fun. On Thursday, February 22nd at 1 p.m., we have the book salvage program, which I mentioned extensively at the last meeting, so I won't make you listen to it again. But if you have any interest in learning about how to fix books, Jess Eidberg and I will be there talking about especially water damage to books and what you can do to alleviate that. On Thursday, February 29th, we will be having a Dogman Cahoot. So if you're familiar with the Dogman books by David Pilkey, that is another one of our online trivia questions on those. On Saturday, March 2nd, from 1 to 4:30, we will be having our annual Hogwarts House Championship. This one is going to run from grades 9 through adult. Please register by Tuesday of next week because we do individualized things for everyone that signs up for it. We do need a little bit of time to make those, but we've got a lot of work going on behind the scenes right now to do that. On Thursday, March 7th at 1 p.m., we have a Get Crafty. Tricia will be having eucalyptus shower melts. If you're interested in doing something crafty that smells good, come and check out that one. And then on March 8th, Friday at 7 p.m. for the middle school grades from 5 to 8 who cannot participate in that high school and adult Harry Potter event, we are going to do just a breakout box for them. It's not going to be themed. We thought about theming Harry Potter, and the Harry Potter interest seems to be waning down a little bit at that age level. However, the breakout box, that is still way high interest. And then on Monday, March 11th, the Friends of the Library will be having their monthly book club, and they will be discussing the book Ely and the Heartmaker, and that's at 3 p.m. And that's what I got.
Thank you, Rachel. Any questions for Rachel? Go ahead.
Do we have a spice of the month for March?
Yes. I don't remember off the top of my head what the craft project is for next month. I wasn't expecting to go that far in the month. But our spice next month will be poppy seeds. Spent a lot of time today looking up information on poppy seeds. Talk with Rachel again, like I know what it is too, but I totally, until you said it, I don't know the craft. The police chief isn't here. We'll just breeze right on by them. perhaps a friendly reminder, since this is our last meeting of the month, and Councilmember Angela reminded us that because of skip year this year, the 29th and the 1st are both odd days, so stay on the safe side of the street for those of us who park on the street. It's coming up quick, just a little friendly reminder. Okay, moving on to City Attorney.
Yes, I have two items for the agenda today. The first is a series of MOUs between the City of Ely and their bargaining units. The City of Ely received a considerable rate increase relative to health care from Health Partners, and for the first time in a decade, we are shifting carriers from Health Partners to Blue Cross Blue Shield. These MOUs reflect that change and also the cost savings shared by both the employer and the employees. So you have all your bargaining units, and you also have a contract coming up in old business where the final bargaining unit has that same healthcare language weaved through.
I need a motion. So moved by Jerome, supported by Angela. Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Great.
And follow up on Harold's comments relative to the potential new workforce housing in Ely. We do have ordinance 375, ordinance for the City of Ely regarding the Ely Housing Fund. And I'll let Harold speak to more of the details of the nature of how this housing fund would work. But in essence, this would be an ordinance that would allow us to set up a sort of trust fund on behalf of housing in Ely. The language comes primarily from the Minnesota Housing Fund. They are, I guess I would say, some of the experts when it comes to how to fund a project of this size on a government basis. And so they've been helping us to fill the gaps when it comes to gap financing and also just in terms of bringing this project to completion. So I can let Harold comment on the details of it.
Sure. Minnesota Housing Partnership brought this to the HRA board probably a month and a half ago or so. So to set up a housing trust fund, that does require ordinance by the municipality. And within that ordinance, you can kind of earmark the types of projects that you'd like to use that trust fund for. The money is generated by the levy that the HRA has had in place for many years. I believe it's in the $300,000 range is what's been put into that account. And by having this ordinance in place, we can then leverage money that the state has. That will not be available until this summer sometime. So it may not be able to be used for the match on this particular project, but as we all well know, there are additional housing needs within the community, and there's other ways that the money can be used for rehabilitation of single-family housing, owner-occupied housing. So this would give the ability to use it for other types of housing projects as well. This is the first reading, so we may have revisions between now and the second reading, but this is all in an effort to try to maximize the amount of money we can get from the state for housing projects in general.
Any questions for her? All right, now we'll go ahead to the first reading. Can I get a motion? Moved by Jerome, supported by Angela. Any discussion? All right, seeing none. Casey, can you call the roll?
Councilmember Al Forsman, Caucus, Jerome Betts.
Yes.
Brian Hallen, Angela Campbell.
Yes.
Adam Bisbee,
Yes.
and Mayor Oversett.
Yes. All right, our first reading has passed. Thank you all. All right, no communications. We move on to claims for payments. Do I have a motion for A and B? Moved by Jerome, supported by Adam. It's your turn. Any discussion on the claims for payment? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Old business. Any motion? Yeah. Any motion? So moved by Jerome, supported by Angela. Discussion. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to new business. Residential rehab loan application for Sharp Ackerley for $10,000. Directing Attorney Coon to work with the applicant to proceed with the loan application. Is there a motion? Motion by Adam, supported by Angela. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Next, resolution 2024-10, supporting grant application to the Minnesota DNR Federal Recreational Trail Program to purchase trail maintenance equipment for the maintenance of the Prospectors Loop Trail. A motion. Moved by Adam, supported by Jerome. Harold.
Yes, like we've done for both the Ely Igloo and also with the project we're proposing out of Hidden Valley for building of recreational trails. This is for Prospectors Loop. As they continue to maintain their grant-made trails that we've been the fiscal agent for. So they'll be making an application to purchase some equipment to help maintain that 250 miles of trail that's been constructed now. So this project, we would just be the fiscal agent. They would actually be doing the work with the equipment they purchase.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Casey, can you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Al Forsman, Paul Kess, Jerome Phelps,
Yes.
Ryan Callen, Angela Campbell,
Yes.
Adam Bisbee,
Yes.
and Mayor Longworth.